Buenos dias. What's going on, people? It's your boy, Big Wavy Roy Johnson, Ibiza's favorite wrestler. And right now, you're hanging out with Heel Pops and Chair Shots, kicking it. We're doing all that good stuff, bringing the good vibes with your good vibes member, Big Wavy Roy Johnson. Yeah.
Welcome back to Heels, Pops, and Chair Shots Wrestling's Entertainment Champions. Old school Joe, I had to go and reach you, man, because I needed some backup here. I got JP, my ace, but you know who else we got? We got somebody special, ladies and gentlemen. We got the bad man from the ends. Big Wavy eats his chicken, no gravy. Our boy Roy Johnson, talk to him a minute. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's going on? Buenos dias, all that good stuff. How's everyone doing?
Yes. You've been to DR. I know it. You've been to DR. I know it.
well, the man summers in Miami, so you know he's a traveler.
I travel about Miami. I flip between Miami and Ibiza, so a lot of I have to speak Spanish every so often if I want.
Let's go.
Okay.
You doing some traveling too? I see you in Ali Pally over there. What you doing out there, man?
Yeah, I did think about that. It's like I looked at the background thing. Is that Ali Pally or is that just my?
if I'm gonna speak to the host of Progress, I gotta put up Ali Pally. That was just. Right. and it's such an honor to speak to you. You know, I've been a fan of Progress and of you for a while. I was actually thinking the first time I saw you was Freedom's Road, and
oh wow, okay.
Just thinking about the talent you were with at that time, and then seeing where you guys are at now. You, Spike Gervais, Chuck Mambo, Candy Floss, the OJMO. You know,
he would have shut up for weeks about this one. He was all. I
got a little excited when I found out we were doing Big Wavy. You know, so it's I
mean, that and you've seen like us from. I say us collectively, the people who are on that show from like early on in I guess all our respective careers, because in the hierarchy of progress shows, that's like I'm trying to think what I can compare it to. That's like the NXT Florida loop, where you know the NXT house shows, and then you know if you consider an Endeavor or I can't remember Live at the Dome or whatever as NXT, and then the chapter shows as main roster and that sort of stuff. So you see us from like our very very humble beginnings. So
straight from the Projo as it was, but
straight from the Projo, exactly. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Hopefully that's a testament to the love and where we're coming from right here.
I wasn't expecting it.
There you go.
You guys
real recognizes real, my friend.
We gotta do some homework, man. We didn't do it in school. We do it when we want to.
Exactly.
When it's necessary.
There you go.
Boss, man, you doing the damn thing, man. I see you doing things on the network too. They got Progress showing on the network these days. Listen, talk to me about this gig you got hosting Progress, man. I know Jimmy Small, man, left you some big shoes to fill, man. So hey, you're doing your thing. So talk to me. How
Jim, there's some very big shoes for me to fill. So to take it back a little bit. So obviously we had a big break with wrestling. A lot of things changed within Progress and their management within their roster and all that sort of thing. And one of the guys who's looking after Progress now, a guy called James, he messaged me and gave me loads of dates for next year. So at the time it was for the end of 2020 going into 2021. And then we have regular chats on the phone and stuff. So he's really good in communicating, which is obviously really important thing. Much overstated, in fact, so much understated thing in wrestling. Right. Actually, it's promoters having good communication with their talent. So he's chatting to me and he said, we haven't really got anything concrete planned for you until later on in 2021. So we just had this idea, would you want to do the hosting for Progress? And I thought about it. I had a few concerns, a few reservations and that sort of thing. And I said to him, let me sleep on it. I'll put together my pros and cons and I'll get back to you. And the pros just way outweighed the cons for doing it. So it was a quite easy decision to say yes. Of course, yeah, I'm filling in the shoes of Jim Smallman, who's 100 shows, and I've done so far. I've done 3. Well, you've seen me do 3. So
right.
And obviously it was his company, his baby at the time. So, but it's really not an easy job. It's really not an easy job.
you seem to finesse in it, though. I see you flashy as hell too. Listen, you dress fresh, a little too fresh though. Is there ever a time that we're gonna see you get your hands dirty? Jump in sometime, and because you look like you can. Oh, I want to see some action.
So you might have noticed in the first couple of episodes, the first 2, anyway, that I'm wearing my ring gear. I'm half a ring gear, half of my clothes. So I'm just letting people know that if it's gonna throw down, all I need to do is take my shirt off. I'm ready to go.
I love it.
I got my knee pads on. I got my gear on. I got my wrist tape on. I'm good. I'm good to go. There's no.
Ready.
So if people, luckily, there's an unwritten understanding between me and the talent, whereas I'm not gonna mess with your shit. Don't mess with my shit. Basically.
Right.
Sorry, I apologize if I'm not allowed to swear here, but
no, feel free.
Yes.
No, you're please.
This unwritten thing. We're done.
Encourage it.
I won't mess with you, and that's it. I won't mess with you. But
in case you want to shoot, though,
but in case it comes down to it, the shirt comes off. So
Yeah, there it is.
And Roy's one of the bigger guys in that Brit scene. I'd say you, Rampage, are probably who you guys did that main event for your show at Wrestling Resurgence this past year, which was amazing. And to note, was that the first all black wrestling show in the UK?
Yeah, I think in the world. In fact, I think
probably.
I want to say in the world. I know there's a wrestling promotion that runs in. Well, actually, it can't be the world because there must be wrestling promotions that run in places like Africa and
Nigeria,
exactly.
Senegal.
I almost got booked in Jamaica actually, so I'm pretty sure.
Nice.
But so it's the first one in the UK. That's definitely.
Big. But that's big though, considering where you're talking about where it took place. That's still huge. If anything, it may have more relevance in that matter, right?
Oh no, of course, because we're people forget we're a small country. We have a very big wrestling scene, but we're a small country. So, and getting the card together for that show was really difficult. But it was difficult in one aspect in terms of we have a smaller pool of black talent, but it was easy in another respect in terms of everyone who I wanted to book on that show was available, apart from 2 people. One of the 2 was Rampage Brown, who we eventually were able to get at last minute. But just the fact that there's so many, and at that time anyway, there were so many shows going on around the country. You could go in London and there'll be maybe 3 shows on the same day, and that's just London. London seems small. Throughout the whole country, there's shows on all the time, and for the fact that there was a given Saturday and 98% of the black talent in the country were available for a booking. It's just kind of highlighted the problem that I was trying to highlight. So
absolutely,
but
that's amazing.
And that's a struggle that we're seeing here in the States as well. I mean, we're just coming off a situation when you think of WWE, their 3rd black champion in the history. Right. How is this possible? Right? How is it possible? And that's why it was such important gesture to create that show, to highlight the talent that is available, and unfortunately, it's just not being booked, right? Because that's what it comes down to. And obviously, there's an inherent bias to that. Even though people want to deny it, it's clear as daylight. And we're thankful that you were able to do that out there, because once again, the statement that was made with that show was heard worldwide.
Yeah, thank you. I do appreciate it. I do. Every so often I forget about the significance of that show. I know because obviously we had Sugar on it, we had Darius on it because they are adopted British. They're adopted British wrestlers, so and they just have to be in the country, and it was really good we could have them on. And talking to them, spending time with those guys, Sugar especially on shows afterwards, kind of kept hammering how important the show was and how and the reach it had and all that sort of thing, and how and then like we were talking about taking it over to America and all these sort of things, and then we couldn't really get it to happen, but then for the culture was announced
right
after.
But I always note the fact that you were the first. GCW I knew got a lot of coverage.
We know what's up.
Exactly.
We know who's number one.
Big love to GCW and to AJ Gray especially, because as soon as For the Culture was announced, he was in my DM saying, "Look, we appreciate you, kind of you know, not in the exact way, but kind of like if it wasn't for your show, we wouldn't be able to do this show. So you set the path and that sort of thing. And if you're available, we'd love to have you on the show. But I couldn't sort it out, and then Corona happened, so I couldn't travel anyway. But yeah, the reach that show had is something I didn't quite realize. Like a week after that show, was it a week after? I get my weeks messed up. I had that month. I had that show, and yeah, it was a week after. I had I was at NXT UK. I was doing one of the tapings there, and I was talking to Oliver Carter of you know, the tag team, him and Aston Smith, and he was saying that kind of he knew about it through and was watching it back in Germany. Is it Germany? No, I think he lives in Switzerland. Sorry. Okay. And I was surprised that, you know, it traveled that far, because British wrestling, you don't realize how far it travels and how many people watch it all over the world, and there's so much stuff going on. I did a show in France, and the promotion who I was with, they looked after me really well. You know, so gave me like my apartment and stuff, and they had some of the guys that train at their school to take me and show me around Paris and stuff. And I was just chatting to them, and it was just, and they had subscriptions to every on-demand service in the UK, and they watched everything. Even like obviously I know about promotions and stuff, but I've not seen every show that's going on, because I don't have time to watch everything.
Right.
But they'd seen everything. So it's just mad the reach that British wrestling has all over the world.
It's to be said. I mean, in the US, British wrestling is beloved. And if anything, if the talents that have been able to cross over to this side, the reason they've reached the heights that they have is because of the following that they have, you know, because the talent is there. And the one thing about British wrestling, I mean, that strong style, that the authenticity of it is something that we crave, you know, in the world of wrestling, that's always appreciated. So absolutely.
Yeah. It's just mad. I forget at times, and I think even recently I was sat in my living room just playing on the PlayStation. I had nothing to do, and my phone started going off, and there was like some sort of watch along going on Twitter with people watching Everything Patterned again, and it's just mad. I think someone was tweeting from the PWI account, so
nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's nice to kind of get that sort of mention, not just for myself as well, for like, you know, the guys who are on the show and the girls who are on the show, who the whole reason for us doing the show was to get them seen more, get the exposure. So
get more eyes,
and know that, you know, you peeling that red tape and being the first to kind of make that happen, it just serves as an inspiration for others to continue to do it. You know, it's kind of like that bystander effect. Everybody sees that it's happening, but nobody does anything about it. You come out, you put that promotion, a hell of a pay-per-view together, and it just inspires everybody, man. So definitely, like, if you haven't realized it, or if you've forgotten, we're here to remind you.
Yeah, man.
I do forget.
That's because you're a humble human being, man, and that's something that definitely resonates when people view you on TV, see you in promotions, and that's why you have the following you have, man. So keep being you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm starting to sound like a baby face out here, bro.
Yeah, man.
It's a little too
Yeah,
much,
man.
Jesus,
Listen, we remember progress to be. You mentioned COVID. We of course the classic ROH ECW vibe feel with the progress crowds and stuff, and that's always something we're gonna remember. How was that transition dealing with COVID now and all that, and what new
the studio setting versus the crowd you would normally get?
Right.
It's a completely different feeling doing the tapings how we're doing at the moment, because like a lot of part of not just progress but British wrestling, the brand, what people expect to see from British wrestling is part of the crowd.
Right.
You know, and I'll speak specifically for progress themselves, but a lot of part of their branding was due to the rabid audience and how being in a crowd at a progress show felt like you were in the football terraces. So yeah, exactly. And with that not being there, that's already one thing that's taken away from the brand that they've built up. And obviously it's going to come back when fans come back. But doing these shows, some people obviously were within the right to think this doesn't feel like progress because the fans aren't there. And also a lot of things have changed. Commentary teams changed, the rosters changed, the venues changed. People's music might have changed, that sort of thing. So a lot of change going on. So I can understand why people might feel a way about it. But I'm dying for the fans to come back. It'll make hosting a lot easier if there's people there.
You gotta feed off of some.
Yeah,
especially if we get to see
I feel for you too.
You can't have that without a live crowd.
Exactly. So
well, big up to you, man, because that's what you do. You still go out there and you still do what you gotta do, and more power to you, man, because it's not easy. It's not easy for anybody dealing with it, and you are surely doing a hell of a job, man.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard trying to be the most enthusiastic and energetic person in an empty room. Like, and then you got to do that with the camera in front of you the whole time. Sometimes 2 or 3 cameras.
That's crazy.
So it's
Damn.
You said that it's a lot of changes. There are a lot of new faces that are showing up in progress. We just saw the Endeavor tourney and
the MPS, yeah.
Or Natural Progression, sorry.
Yeah,
Natural Progression series. Jesus, I'm starting to mix up shows.
It did initially start. It did initially start on Endeavor shows.
The Endeavor shows, right?
But yeah, like back in the day. But yeah, go on. Sorry, carry on.
This is how far back I go. So for the Natural Progression series, who are the talents that you see coming out of that you're like, this is a blue chipper, or here's your dark horse that you're gonna really see step it up in the next couple of years?
Well, so the thing about this year's MPS compared to previous years, because of the situation we're in with COVID and restarting wrestling again, it's different to previous years in that previous years you'd have people who you'd see in the MPS and then you might not see them again. This year, the people who are in it are now very much ingrained in the roster already. And you had, and like I spoke about this the other day. I can't remember who I was talking to about it, but like in wrestling, timing is very important. You can strike it lucky with the right timing, and then you're a megastar. And a lot of the guys in the MPS this year, a lot of them have just had right timing. They've obviously they've got the talent. They've been ready. They've kept themselves ready for when wrestlers come back, and then they've been handed this massive opportunity to not only not debut, because some of them had already like worked for Progress before, but have more involvement or be featured more on Progress, and as well as that, be featured on the WWE Network. And it's like a tremendous upside on so many people just because of that. And the fact that, yeah, like I said, they're now ingrained into the roster, so they're going to keep resting other guys within the progress roster. And there's guys like, obviously, like Luke Jacobs, Ethan Allen, who have just kind of broke out already from the pack within the NPS, in terms of, obviously, because they're a fantastic tag team, and they're young and they're hungry, and they're both extremely talented. And like I see in like Luke, like shades of like Bradshaw, or
that's a good comparison,
or Stan Hansen,
the big guys.
Yeah. Because of him,
power pound galore.
Exactly, and there's like guys like Warren Banks, who he's been ready for a long time, and he's just needed the opportunity to step up. I've had a few wars with Warren over the years, and like every time, like, yeah, they've just been fantastic matches. And like, I guess, again, time has worked out so good for him. He's been ready, stayed ready, and he's given these fantastic opportunities. You know, people like Big Guns Joe and like DeReese, and you know, like Danny Black is another one who's like, he's really stepped up and into that role that he's had within the NPS, and then onwards in progress. So obviously I've seen more of what's been taped, because like, you guys on episode 3, I've seen 8 episodes, so I see how people have kind of grown into their role on the roster, and
just a small little bit of the curtain goes back.
Well, yeah. We've taped 8 episodes so far, so, and you'll see them coming out over the coming weeks and stuff. But like, yeah, it's everyone's stepped up into these gaps within British wrestling, and these gaps in their progress roster, and everyone's killing it. There's like everyone's
even the champ. Even Karen Noir, I remember 2 years ago he was in the finals, right?
Yeah.
And to see him now as the champ, it's pretty amazing. And he's a great champion.
Absolutely.
He brings the theatrics and the ruckus.
The sizzle and the steak, as you guys like to say over there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how often changing when you do these recordings now for Progress? Or do these guys change it, or
it has changed a little bit. So we've been doing them in blocks. So and it's been largely dependent on COVID regulations in the UK, because they're just changing so much. Now we're in a lockdown at the moment, but so for things like television, for example, you can record, and obviously TV carries on, because, you know, otherwise what people are going to do and watch stuff. But the protocols that they put in place for the COVID for the tapings in progress with regards to COVID, they're exactly the same with television. So I do a little bit of TV stuff, and you know, you have to have COVID testing, and then be in a bubble, and if you come out of that bubble, you have to be tested again, and all that sort of stuff. And everyone needs a positive COVID test, social distancing. You got to wear a mask when you're not wrestling. The rings have got to be cleaned in between matches. All this sort of stuff. You know, there's a lot of
work.
There's a lot of stuff has to go into play. You have to have your temperature read every day, and all this sort of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. But yeah, sorry, I've gone on a tangent. But yeah, so we recorded a block in January, the 3rd week of January. We recorded 4 episodes in January, and then another 4 in February. We're having a break this month, and then we're going back into more tapings in April.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But how it's going to pan out for you guys, it'll be, so the first 2 episodes were weekly, and then it's every fortnight.
Okay.
So we had one show. Yes, we had one show that dropped on Saturday. The next one will be the following Saturday. So not this Saturday, the following one. Yeah.
Okay. That's perfect.
Cool.
That's perfect.
Cool.
Let me ask you a question. You know, you did mention COVID and where you guys currently are. I mean, I'm sure it must be difficult, being that there's so many different surrounding countries that talents are coming from. How has that impacted the ability to put on a show?
Not so much the ability to put on a show, because we have people here who fortunately have stayed ready for these opportunities, and they've stepped in and they've sorted it and done great. But yeah, we have people, wrestlers, who come over and they'll work, or they'll stay here for a period of time, and they'll do tours or what have you. And obviously we can't do it at the moment because the world's not open to travel.
Mm-hmm.
And then also we have the added thing over here now with Brexit, which means people from the EU are going to have problems. I'm sure it'll get sorted out eventually once everyone's kind of settled down into Brexit and stop bickering and point scoring. But like,
we know what bickering's all about.
Yeah. Well, I think once people just accept Brexit for what it is, and then they allow a bit more freedom into working within the EU, then that will allow wrestlers to travel in the UK, and UK wrestlers to travel out of the UK to wrestle. But for people from the US, for example, they'll probably be able to come over very soon. I don't know, once we're completely open, which hopefully will be by the summer. So.
Fantastic.
One thing I've always appreciated about Progress is kind of the out of the box thinking in terms of the presentation and the titles. Like I can remember the original staff that was used for the championship, or the tag team titles that were the yin and yang. One of the most recent or the Atlas title. Let's not forget that, where everyone else was giving us a cruiserweight, we finally had a heavyweight belt to go after, right? And the most recent edition is the Protus Championship. I know, I believe right now it's a vacant. Is there going to be anything set up in terms of a tourney or something coming up to fill it?
Actually, I imagine there'll probably be some sort of tournament or something to fill it, because for everything, all the titles and stuff going forward. Obviously, Cara Noir is still there defending the championship, but if someone's not able to defend their championship, it's got to be vacated and then you got a new champion decided. So I'm sure that'll happen soon.
I just love that concept of where the champion picks the stipulation, so you can always change it up. It could be one champion who decides it's going to be a hardcore championship, or one who's going to have a submission, or maybe switch it up in the weight class. You know, it just brings that layer storytelling that
it's really I think it really helps with developing people as characters as well who happen to have the championship. It's really interesting.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's so creative. We're not used to that kind of thing out here in America, but it's just so creative. Too much more of your time today, Roy. Thank you for joining us today and blessing us with your time.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Fab.
We like to end, no problem. We end with a lightning round. We call it the round of chair.
We call it a round of chair shots. Essentially,
don't take over.
So we call it a round of chair shots. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. It got cut off a little bit. So round of chair shots, yeah.
Round of chair shots. Essentially, I'm gonna throw questions at you. Bad. First thing that comes to mind, bam. Okay. So here we go. I'm gonna start off with an easy one. What's your favorite cheat meal?
Fried chicken, a lot of fried chicken, fries, and chocolate brownies with chocolate ice cream.
Ooh, chocolate on chocolate, you dirty bastard!
I'm a chocolate guy. I'll settle for vanilla with the brownies, but yeah.
Do you like your ice cream like you like your women?
What's that?
Oh man. What's your biggest pet peeve?
Oh, I have so many little ones that at the moment I'll just say negativity. I'll just leave it there. Negativity, not necessary a lot of the time.
That's the most easiest to see, man. We gotta search for the positive, right?
Yeah.
Especially during these times, right?
Absolutely.
Your being in the business, you know, I'm sure you and the role that you have and the career that you've had at this point, you definitely were enamored by a star, right? What was your starstruck moment upon coming into the business?
Well, like I was a massive wrestling fan, so and I still am a massive wrestling fan. I came into the business as a Progress wrestling fan, so there's been many times where I've been, well, I'd say early on in my career, before I started wrestling, I've been starstruck. I met Shawn Michaels on a plane once.
That'll do it.
Yeah, that's the biggest one because I think came off. This is after WrestleMania 24. I was flying from Orlando to Texas with my family at the time, Houston, Texas.
Nice.
And he walked past and with it, he had obviously the cowboy hat, says instantly recognizable.
Yep.
And then kind of he obviously boarded on the flight before everyone else because he had first class or whatever. But it just so happened that he boarded my flight. So, and I didn't realize that until I was on the flight, and then I saw him walk past. I was like, "Oh no! Oh my God! Shawn Michaels on my flight." And I've like been a Shawn guy forever. Like Shawn's one of my favorites all time. And when I got off the flight, I was just like, "I'm sorry if someone's team brat on this call, but Shawn's
we
my
are,
guy."
We are, but see, we've accepted it and we moved on. We've understood we have to be a fan of both, right?
Yeah.
It's like you said, I'll settle for vanilla, but you like chocolate, right? That's kind of how we feel. I love Brett, but I have to give respect to Shawn because Shawn is one of the best to ever do it. So we were better for it to be able to see both of those gentlemen perform, right?
Absolutely. But yeah,
right.
I got off the flight and I was like, I have to speak to this dude, even if it's for 2 minutes or whatever. I don't care if whatever. And it just so happened that I wanted to do it before we got to like the luggage carousels and all that sort of stuff because the last thing you want to be doing is talking to some mark when you're trying to get your luggage, trying to go home.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so just as I was coming out, going into the luggage bit, he was waiting outside the toilets. So I had a quick chat with him outside the toilets, got a picture of him, and let him go about his business. So that's the most starstruck I've ever been in wrestling. Since then, obviously, I've worked NXT UK, and he's been producing the show. And it's like now I don't get really starstruck by anyone anymore. It's, I think the only person left for me to get starstruck by would probably be The Rock. I think. Other than that, yeah.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned The Rock. So my question to you is, what is your favorite movie? So perfect segue,
Step Brothers. Step Brothers.
Step Brothers?
I'm trying to do quick fire, so Step Brothers.
Yes. Yeah. Awesome.
Oh.
One of our boys, Mischief, is on the podcast. We saw it the first time. He didn't like it. He started liking it by the time he saw it, the 5th time. That's when he actually understood the humor. It happens with Will Ferrell movies, but Step Brother is a classic. Awesome choice.
The more times you watch that film, the more things you pick out. Like, so yeah, I think it's that one. Yeah, definitely.
So many activities.
I mean, anytime you have testicles on a drum set, it's a classic, right?
Exactly.
If you could have any superpower, which one would it be?
The ability to fly.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, it never fails. Never fails. Every wrestler says that. It must be a transportation thing. I don't know.
You have to pay for the trans.
I'd be the best, probably the best, heaviest, high flying wrestler. and I have no fear.
No one would notice. No one would notice.
It would never scare me
the third man in Aussie Open.
So, I'd be climbing all sorts of things and jumping off them, and I wouldn't care because I'd be able to land perfectly because I can fly. So
there you go. Levitation is key, folks. Levitation is key. What is the worst purchase you've ever made?
Oh, I make a lot of bad purchases.
The worst.
Okay, this is again trying to keep it quick fire. I spent £18 on pick and mix sweets.
On what?
So I don't know if you guys have it over in the US. No, you do have it because I've been to candy stores. You pick them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you you weigh by the how much it weighs, and you can pick as much candy as you want.
Yeah.
We do that with our ice cream, our frozen yogurt as well.
Yeah,
we're bougie, you know.
But so obviously in COVID, I have a thing for pick and mix anyway. I'm kind of a little bit obsessed with it. But because of COVID, when COVID started, all the shops that sold them obviously stopped selling them because they don't want people germs, all that sort of stuff. So I found somewhere online that sells them, and I spent £18 on them. It's not, and bear in mind these things cost in the shops in the UK between £1 to £3, depending on how much you buy. Even if you buy loads, you can get a tub and you just fill it up, and it costs like £3. But I spent £18,
but they were delicious.
Oh yeah, but they weren't.
And they weren't contaminated during a pandemic. That sounds like
No, they were delicious. They were fresh. They weren't contaminated, but they also were gone very quickly. I sat and watched. I sat and watched Endgame, and I ate them all. And then,
especially watching. That was stress eating. Then that was stress eating. And also they were gone within 10 minutes. It wasn't like a for the film.
He didn't even finish the first fight scene. He was just done by then.
The reason why this was my bad purchase was because there was a tweet that went out on the same day that's saying, "Oh, if you save, or if you save like £13 a day or something like that, you by the end of the year you'll have like, I don't know, I can't remember what it was, like £5,000 or something like that, so £5,000." And I was like, oh, well, I've just spent £18 on pick and mix.
So definitely you were having this type of conversation with yourself after you ate all of it, and you're thinking about, damn, what did I just do? And if I may say, you were considering doing it again.
Of course.
Right.
Of course. I've ordered again from them since.
There you go.
Now we're in a position where the shops are open, and the shops that sell pick and mix can sell pick and mix with they give you gloves and everything. And the only reason I feel that was a waste of money is because someone told me that I should be saving that £13 a day instead I spent it on pick and mix sweets. So,
brother, live your best life.
Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
We're trying to make you feel bad. Live your best life. We just went through a year of a pandemic, and we're still in it. Like, you good. Get your pick and mix.
So I missed that last question.
Dumbest way you've ever been injured?
So this is before I started wrestling. I can't remember what it's called, subluxed my patella. Basically, the kneecap came out.
Oh man!
And I did that from playing FIFA.
Wait, playing the video game?
Video game?
Yeah.
I gotta ask.
You use the control, not your feet, right? Like,
No. So what happened was I was lying on my bed, but I was lying at an angle whereby my knee was at the end of the bed. So obviously with natural gravity, my legs are on the bed, my knees dipping like in a way it shouldn't be, kind of the rest of my leg, and then I've been playing like that for hours and hours, and I'm like, right, cool, I need to get up and do something now. Got up and then kneecap popped.
I always wondered if something like that would happen to me, because I do that. I lay on the bed with my And it hurts after a while. It hurts. It kind of hurts after a while.
Yeah, so it's all right if you lay in your bed and, like, I don't know, part of your thigh's hanging off the bed or something, because you got, you can kind of put your leg in the position where it should be. But when your knee is hinged right on the end of the bed, and I got up and it just popped, and then I couldn't walk for a long time. Well, it wasn't a long time. It was just a couple of weeks. It really hurt, and I went to my gym. And because I was like, can I see if I can train around this? And like one of the guys in my gym was a doctor, and he's like, yeah, you've subluxed your kneecap. And then he just kind of did something and like kind of pushed it back in.
Oh wow!
And then I rested for a little bit, and then I was fine. And it's not bothered me since. In fact, my knees are now very good. But
so it means that you dislocated it essentially, which still sounds even worse, to be honest.
Yeah, so it's essentially just dislocated my kneecap. But from a lesson I learned from that is now I sit in a chair and I'm playing video games.
You see, folks, we're learning things every day.
Hey, you
With
taught
any
me.
disease.
Now I'm not gonna do that shit no more. So
It makes sense because your ligaments are technically suspended at that point, and if you're doing
Yeah.
it for hours, like it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
As a fellow person who have messed up their ligaments on their knee, I feel for you, and I'm glad you were able to recover from that because, good lord, anytime I hear patella,
Yeah.
whew.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest fan interaction you've ever had?
Oh God,
This is a good one. That one.
No, 'cause I had a year of having really weird fan interactions. Like 2017 when I did the UK tournament, I had a lot of weird new fans, and it's died down now and stuff. But I used to have this one fan who used to tweet me daily, just really random, like kind of almost fantasy stories. That it wasn't like he was a role play account or anything. He just decided that, like, you know, like me and one other random wrestler were coming out with a album or something, and then we're recording our new album in my recording studio that I obviously have in my flat apparently. Or yeah.
Listen, it's the appearance, man. People look at you, they see money, they see style, they see panache, and they expect this type of lifestyles, man.
So this one particular fan, he would tweet every day. He would tweet random scenarios at me, and I'd just be like, "Yeah, man,
yeah."
You were feeding the fetish.
I just kind of built in, like, kind of just played along with it. It's like, yeah, man, the album is coming along really good, and I can't wait for you to see it.
You just didn't want to see him go the other way with it.
Well, no, because the thing with that is as well is he was, I think he was Irish or something. So, and he was always talking about going to see. I don't know if you guys heard of OTT.
Okay.
The wrestling company in Ireland.
Yeah.
So he was talking about their shows there, and I'm thinking, well, if this guy's always bigging me up in Ireland, maybe I'll get booked in Ireland. So if I just pay up to whatever this weird story is that he's trying to create for my life, I'm trying to make it work so I can get paid, and I can go and see another country. But it never happened in the end. He stopped tweeting the weird stuff now.
Nice.
I think he got tired of waiting on the album.
Yeah.
That's all that is. Just get to work on the album. That's all. You'll be all right.
What is the most useless talent you have?
Useless talent. Wrestling.
Yo.
I don't know, because I have like I have a ridiculously strong grip, really strong grip, which I don't know how. One day I just discovered I have a really strong grip, but that's not useless. That helps people. That helps things. I can't sing. I don't know. I don't think I have any talents that's useless. Like
Everything
they all have a use. They all have.
If all my talents are of use, like to someone or something, like I'm sure, like I'll probably think of something that I do, but
it's all good. It's all
you
good.
can tweet it when you figure it out.
There you go.
Yeah, when I figure it out, yeah, definitely. When I remember if any talent I have that's use, I'll tweet it out.
All right, man. To round it out, one of the questions we always ask the talent, in your eyes, what is more important, the heel or the face?
The heel.
The heel. And why?
Because people can relate to heels more. There's always someone in your life or whatever that you just hate, and you look at, and sometimes you just don't even know them, and you're just like, I don't like the look of you. Don't know what it is, but there's something about you I don't like, and I really wouldn't mind seeing you trip up and hit your face on something. It wouldn't be the end of the world if that happened to you. Or, you know, you see someone on TV and you're like, oh man, you've got a face that I just love to punch. You see people like that all the time.
You got a face great smack.
Yeah, exactly. I always say you got a face that I wouldn't get bored of punching. Like it's
you got a punching bag face.
and also and as an aside, you can't have a good face without a good heel. Like with wrestling, if you've got a good heel, you'll get behind your face more because you want to see that guy get beaten up. You want to see, you want to see him trip on a curb and hit his face and all that sort of stuff. So, in terms of like wrestling, yeah, it's important. I absolutely.
So an addendum to that question, who is your all-time favorite heel?
I say Triple H.
Ooh,
nice.
Even today?
I like that one.
Well, like, so I'm thinking specifically of like back in like 99, 2000, and then going into like 2002, 2003, 2000.
Great
in fact, yeah, I keep adding years to it because that period of time he was just killing it as a heel. And like when I was a fan in the late 90s, early 2000s, I turned into Raw thinking, has he lost the belt yet? I was turning into
yeah, straight up,
and
he was despised.
Yeah, and I just remember me and my buddy who I used to watch Raw with was just like, I can't wait to see him lose the belt. So and I was like, WrestleMania's coming up, so he's gonna lose it then. He didn't.
Yeah.
Especially when he turned on
four-way too. Like what the hell? Like we got 3 chances, you still didn't lose it.
And then like he's had obviously different like runs after that, where the kind of the period where he was just all over Raw and he was the world champion of Raw, and then Evolution, and then all that sort of stuff. So he's had like really incredible runs as a heel, and he's which I now appreciate more being a wrestler. So
absolutely. Vic, I'm good. The man passed the test.
I college boy. Appreciate you, baby. Listen, man. Is there anything you want to plug on before we end this, or anything you want to let your fans know?
So I'll plug my socials first. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or if you search for Roy Johnson, that's the handle for all of them. I'm not on TikTok, so you won't find me on there. Not on TikTok.
For that.
Not Snap. Well, I tried it for a little bit and I just didn't get it. So it's not for me.
Same here.
Leave that to the kids, man. It's not for me.
My wife loves it.
Oh, there you go. Maybe you have to keep jumping and do the TikTok with her and stuff, but I'm out. Yeah. It's not for me. You can find me at the moment, Progress Wrestling. As mentioned, we're running shows fortnightly on the WWE Network and on Progress on Demand. The next show, so I don't know when this goes out, but what's the date today? Today's a
16th, 3/16.
Oh my God, sorry, 3/16 day. So it's the 16th today, which means the next show that will go out will be the 27th.
Okay.
2 weeks from last Saturday. So, I'm sorry, I've completely forgot what number we're on chapter shows now. It's I think we're at 107. No, 108. 108. Yeah, we're 108 coming up. So that's coming up soon. So, like I said, you can catch it on WWE Network or on Progress on Demand. And then outside of that, like once things pick up over in the UK and we're finally fully out of COVID, lockdown, all that sort of stuff, Boris Johnson has promised, was earmarked, as benchmarked 21st of June as the date that we're fully out of lockdown. So after that, I'm sure you'll see me announce for shows going forward. So I'll have that to plug and announce. Merch, if you wanted to get some Roy Johnson merch, I run my own store at royjohnson.bigcartel.com. Similarly, I have a store On The Gear merch. So On The Gear, I believe it's onthegear.com or onthegear.co.uk. If you search my name on there, you'll find my stuff there. That's printed by someone else and they ship it and they kick back the money to me. So that's all good. But I appreciate, times are hard at the moment. And with COVID, people are in situations where they're made to spend their money on other more important things, like £18 on pick and mix, for example. But so I'm not hard selling my stuff. If you want to buy merch from me, by all means, please do. If you have better things to spend your money on. Please spend your money on better things. You know, whatever you spend on a t-shirt from Roy Johnson, you can spend on pasta or toilet roll. The things are going to last you for a long time.
Wait, you're saying the merch is not? Wait a minute.
Well, no, the merch is going to last.
Okay, I'm about to say. Okay.
But you know, if you spend £15 on pasta, that's going to last you a good long time. So
it should.
it should.